Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your entrepreneurship tutor, Professor Henry Bwisa of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in Kenya. Today, I want to talk to my students of research, and this short lecture is answering the question, what is research? So, the meaning of research. There are quite a number of definitions of research. Let me sample one or two. Yes, this Roscoe tells us research is a human activity based on intellectual investigation and aimed at discovering, interpreting, and revising human knowledge on different aspects of the world. Research is the method used to accumulate scientific knowledge, so he says. You can see clearly that this definition focuses on knowledge creation. So you would say that all research must produce new knowledge, add to the existing knowledge. And I would say this is erroneous. There is another definition. Research is the process of discovering new knowledge. Again, knowledge. This knowledge can be either the development of new concepts or the advancement of existing knowledge and theories, leading to a new understanding that was not previously known. You see, adding to the pool of existing knowledge previously not known. Research is a systematic investigation, that is, the gathering and analysis of information designed to develop or contribute to generalizable knowledge. Again, like the previous definition, this one emphasizes new knowledge generation. Indeed, many times we ask you students, what contribution have you made to the body of existing knowledge? And I would say this was the traditional approach to university research. At that link, you can capture what I've talked about in terms of the evolution of universities. Now, research by Babi 1998 says, research is a systematic inquiry to describe, explain, predict, and control the observed phenomenon. Research involves inductive and deductive methods. Now, from afar, thinly veiled in this definition, is the philosophy that all new knowledge may result from research, but not all research is about new knowledge generation. Indeed, research may even solve a problem using old or existing knowledge. So we go on still asking, what is research? There is re plus search. Repeat again and again, that is research, in research. Find out something. Repeat again and again, finding out something. And indeed, Abraham Maslow told us that our needs are hierarchical, and as we satisfy one level, a new one emerges. And therefore, we keep searching on how to satisfy new ones. Let's superimpose research on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There they are. Those are the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can see the basic, the safety, the love, self-esteem, and self-actualization. So at all levels, we can do research at all those levels. Let's see. Look, re plus search is research. At that basic level, we want basic needs, factors that contribute to the food insecurity in Turkana, for example, becomes research relevant to that need. And when those food security is achieved, then a new need arises, and we could do research on an evaluation of the self-policing strategies, the case of Nyumba Kumi. Once we satisfy the food, security comes in, and we can still do research on. And once we satisfy security, love and belonging come in, and an evaluation of social infrastructure in Kenya. How do people socialize? How is love and belonging achieved, and can we improve it? And after you have finished love and belonging, self-esteem comes in, and it could be an investigation into policies for the promotion of self-employment. You see, a self-employed person with making good profits, could be self-esteem. And finally, on self-actualization, an inquiry into strategies for sustainable societal development. So you can see, we can keep on doing research at every level of Maslow's hierarchy, and even within a level of the hierarchy, there are sub-levels. So research continues because life all continues. Now, types of research. We have two main types of research. That's basic, also called pure, and applied. In basic, an investigation into reasons behind a process, phenomenon, or a particular event. It focuses on generating knowledge around existing basic principles. It is generally considered non-commercial research because it does not focus on solving practical problems. For example, an investigation of the effect of climate change on peasant farmers, say in Kenya, in Kitale, in Bungoma, it may provide new insights that can later be used in applied research. You can see from our previous definitions, knowledge, generating knowledge, is actually therefore basic or pure research. Applied research investigates well-known theories and principles to enhance knowledge around a practical aim. It focuses on solving real-life problems. For example, an investigation to assist peasant farmers mitigate against climate change effects. Above, we talked of investigating the effects of climate change. We can do the effects, write a report, and put it there. People will be reading and understanding those effects. But in applied research, we go ahead and solve and propose a project to solve those climate change problems. Still on types of research, you can see there's fundamental research, there is applied research, and there is action research. We have seen, fundamental research can be qualitative, can also be quantitative. Applied research, the data that they require, can be quantitative, qualitative. The findings, we explain explanatory research in terms of fundamental, exploratory research, and the descriptive research. We also have experimental research and non-experimental research. Let's look at one or two of them. Exploratory research seeks an explanation for a situation or a problem mostly, but not necessarily in the form of causal relations. So it is not always causal, cause and effect paradigm in explanatory, but it is largely so. Exploratory research, finding out what is happening, seeking new insights, and generating ideas and hypotheses for new research. Exploratory. Descriptive research portraying the current status of a situation or a phenomenon. What are we saying? In explanatory, we want to explain why things are happening as they are happening. What is causing this? What is the cause and what's the effect? Explanatory. But exploratory, we go out there to discover, to find out. It is not yet known. We don't even have a theory on it, maybe. And therefore, we go out to find out. But descriptive, we want to become something's existing, and we want to describe it and let people understand it or know it. We can still have another angle at looking at classification of research. We can classify research by purpose, by process, and by outcome. In terms of purpose, we can have exploratory research, descriptive research, analytical research, and predictive research. Exploratory research means there are few or no earlier studies for reference. It is virgin, so to speak. The aim is to look for patterns, ideas, or hypotheses, not testing or confirming hypotheses. Exploratory does not test a hypothesis. It looks to generate the hypothesis, which can later be tested in other researches. Descriptive, we simply describe an existing phenomenon, an existing organization, an existing happening. In analytical, we describe but then explain why and how something is happening. And lastly, in predictive, we forecast the likelihood of a similar situation occurring elsewhere. We predict. In terms of process, classifying by process, we have quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative is based on measurement of quantity. It can be subdivided into inferential, experimental, and simulation approaches. Qualitative is concerned with the discovery of underlying motives and desires. It assesses attitudes, opinions, and behavior, and it generates mainly non-quantitative results. And the outcome, it would be applied, basic, which is also pure, fundamental, and action. Applied, it is done to solve immediate problems. It may not necessarily mean generating new knowledge. We can even use old knowledge or existing knowledge, but to solve an existing immediate problem. The basic or pure fundamental research, it's undertaken to acquire new knowledge, not to solve specific problems. And action research is a subset of applied research where researcher can interfere with what is researched. You can see from this slide that indeed research is not limited to generating new knowledge, particularly applied research. Now an interlude. Hey, these guys are talking. Looks like there is fire. They have made fire. And he says, I was just rubbing sticks together for fun. I didn't realize I was doing basic research. Okay? And about this one, that looked like Isaac Newton. Sitting, is it a mango or an apple tree? What research did Isaac Newton undertake to discover the law of gravity? Yes, carry that home. Now, the purpose of research. The purpose of research is to find out what is known, what is not, and what we can develop further. In this way, scientists can develop new theories, ideas, and products that shape our society and our everyday lives. The purpose of research is to further understand the world and to learn how this knowledge can be applied to better everyday life. It is an integral part of problem solving. Very important here, problem solving. Clearly, therefore, research can be undertaken not only to add on the existing body of knowledge, but also to solve a real life problem. So, why do research? Many reasons, many outcomes, many purposes. We want to add on the body of knowledge. We have seen that this is pure research. We want to solve a problem. We have seen this is applied research. We want to find evidence to inform the practice. We want to contribute to other people's well-being. We want to generate or test or disapprove a theory. We want to come out with a better way. We want to create a new or improved product. You see now, limiting our understanding of research to adding to the body of existing knowledge in our disciplines may not be the whole purpose of research. And now we can look at the process of research. We have started, number one, formulating the research problem. That when you start your research, you need to formulate the research problem. And then you do some extensive literature survey, and then you develop hypothesis. And then you prepare the research design. And 5, you determine the sample design. Number 6, you collect the data. Number 7, you execute the project. Number 8, you analyze the data. Number 9, you test the hypothesis which you set up in number 3. Then number 10, you generalize and interpret. Then you prepare the report, and so on and so forth. Yes, what we have described is actually quantitative research process. But all said and done, all research must start with a problem. And at that link, BWISA advises students to start proposal writing with the problem statement and not the title. Many times, students start with the title, the topic, and then they go back and forth before they actually arrive to a proper statement of the problem. It is a very tricky thing. So BWISA's advice is that please start with the problem and then you'll be smooth. Now, we're saying this is typically a quantitative research process. Yes, look at those loops in red. From stage 2, qualitative research will go to stage 4. Why? Pure qualitative research is hypothesis generating, not hypothesis testing. Therefore, it may not start with and or end with a hypothesis. Sorry, I'll repeat that. It will not start and or test a hypothesis. Look, stage 8, analyzing data. Quantitative research will go to stage 9, where it tests a hypothesis. Remember, in qualitative, we didn't set any hypothesis to start with. So there's no hypothesis to test. So that's why the red arrow from number 8 goes to number 11. Of course, it cannot go to number 10 because in qualitative research, the sample size is normally so small, it cannot be generalized. So hypothesis testing and the generalization may not be in the realms of qualitative research. So the red loops indicate that the process of qualitative research may largely be the same, but it has those distinctions. Now, you are my students. Some of you are undergraduate. Some of you are the master's. Some of you are PhD. There are certain distinctive or glaring focuses of research at those levels. For example, in terms of analysis, in terms of even policy, instead of recommendation and all that. At undergraduate, is largely using directly the models that exist, direct usage of models and the principles. But when you climb to masters, it's now a deeper understanding of the model, not just using it. You must understand the model that you're using it thoroughly, deeply. Not that undergraduates don't understand it, but we're saying a deep understanding of the model, the assumptions, the theoretical underpinnings, historical development. So the depth. At PhD is the development of the chain of inquiry, the theoretical background, the literature review, generation of theory, and so on and so forth. There is a feeling in some quarters that exploratory and qualitative research is too low for PhD. I want to say the contrary. At PhD level, the PH in PhD means philosophy, that doctor of philosophy. And what's philosophy? Logic, philosophizing. What I want to say is that, in fact, exploratory research, which is theory building, hypothesis building best suits PhD. So qualitative, exploratory, where we end up with philosophize by bringing out a theory. That same theory may be now tested with quantitative research, probably even at lower levels. Thank you for watching. Watch out for my lecturette on research methods.